Armstrong Williams on the right side.
Armstrong.
Don't curse, speak English.
Armstrong.
Virtuous society.
Armstrong.
I dare you to listen.
Hey, turn it up. Hey. Armstrong. Get on the right side. Armstrong.
Elevate your mind.
Armstrong.
I'm Armstrong Williams on the right side.
Armstrong.
Yo, man, it's your boy K.O. And you're tuned in to the most conservative of our brothers.
Armstrong.
The Armstrong Williams Show. Please give me a break. Grow up.
Armstrong. Army strong. WGCV. Hello, everybody. I'm telling you. I'm pumped up today, and I'm tired, but I'm still pumped up. Yes, I am. I feel good today. Glad to be in the number one more time. Got a testimony. Want to tell somebody about it. Hello, everybody. I'm Armstrong Williams. Welcome to the broadcast. We are live. Our phone lines are always open for you. 1-866-620-6620 and 803-733-5620. I am going to be literally shocked if I call my guest's name and he's not on the line because the board operator asking, any guess? I know Michael Cutler is holding. Am I right? Wow. That is unbelievable that Michael Cutler is not on the line. Something bad must have happened. But anyhow, as we wait our guests to discuss immigration, it's you and me against the world. How are you today? You know, I haven't heard from, Miss Paulette, Miss Virginia. I haven't heard from Reverend Spry in a long time. I wonder if he's still among the living. You know, when I don't hear from people for such a long time, I often wonder if they're still among the living and somebody forgot to tell me whether have been in the obituary or not. I worry because, we get so accustomed to talking to certain people that when we don't hear from them, we worry about them. I remember the lovely lady who was blind who would just call in all the time. I haven't heard from her in a while, and I just need somebody to call in and tell me that she's okay. Or she can call herself to let me know she's okay. That's all I need to know. You may argue and debate with people. And Randy, I know Randy is live and kicking. Carla, I know she listens, but she doesn't call in because I get on her nerve. But I know she still loves and prays for me. I'm calling the roll today. I just want to make sure that the family is still intact. That's all I want to know. Just give us a shout out. Just call the board, and you don't have to come on the air and say, just tell Mr. Right Side I'm okay. And just that's all I need. I need to know that you're okay. Because we sort of get used to each other and think it's going to always be this way. We know every day brings about a change. And that change is sometimes good, and oftentimes that change leaves our hearts burdened and full of sorrow. It happens. None of us can stay here forever. That's why it's best to not just enjoy this journey, but make sure that we do God's will while we're on this journey. So in the rough times, in the difficult times, in the challenging times, in the time when we can't see our way, He gives us this miracle, that's this blessing that none of us were looking for. And you just say, oh, He's so sweet. I know. Yes, we can say that. He's sweet, I know. So I just want to make sure that Reverend Spry and the people who used to call, that it's just okay. I know it's a tough economy, but we're still in God's sight. We're still a family. Our fabric is so linked together. Okay? And I want to know that my people, my family, I know the guest is holding. You don't think I know that? You don't think I can see that board to know that my guest is holding? Come on now. Come on. Give your boy some credit. Michael Cutler's on by himself today, so I'm going to have my say-so before Michael Cutler come on. Because remember, when I first came to the top of the show, I asked for Michael Cutler. He was not there, which is shocking because he's always at a time. And so because he was a little tad late, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. I'm asking about the family that has consistently listened to this show. We've empowered each other. We've laughed together. We've agreed together. We've disagreed together. And yet we remain a family intact. No family is without its challenges. But you just know that I take a part of this show with me wherever I go. And the people that call that I have an exchange with, even though 99% of you I've never met, I have a connection with you, Miss Mary. I have a connection. Yes, I do. How can I not have a connection when I'm here every day, this appointment, every day at this time? Yes, absolutely. Adam, you have a comment. What's your comment, Adam? Adam.
Hey, this is Alan. How you doing?
Hey, oh, and there's Alan. I hadn't talked to you in a while. So you're among the living.
Oh yeah.
And
you made like this. I did not agree with the president with the minimum wage hike.
No.
I think that's a suppressive act that would probably take all the mom and pops and just blow them out. I think they'll be brought up, sell out, because it just can't maintain a $9 an hour. That's just too much.
It is too much. But listen, how are you doing?
Hanging in. School is out now. I'm about to try to put my footprint out here in the world. Get back in the IT world and do my thing and try to help others get out there.
Well, I want you to know you're in my prayers. I wish you well because we're so busy talking at and with each other. We never take time to ask how are you doing.
I appreciate that. But before I go, let me add one thing. With the minimum wage, instead of doing it that way, why don't we tie the minimum wage with cost of living, as the president said, and profit, company profit? If the profit is high, the minimum wage is better. How's that?
It's common sense, and you have it today. Now, I'm not going to say what you're going to have tomorrow or what you're going to have next week, but I'll tell you this, you have it today.
Hey, it's good to have it once in a while.
It's good, and look, every now and then I can have it.
There you go.
Okay, brother.
All right.
You're my brother.
Thanks, man.
If my brother's in trouble, so am I. I will fight for his right. But somebody call in today and let me know that Reverend Spry and my lady who's blind, that they're okay. I just need to know that they're okay. That's all I need to know. Michael Cutler, how in the world are you today?
I'm okay, Armstrong. How are you?
Oh, I feel blessed. I feel special. I feel empowered. I feel I'm about to learn something. I feel this. I feel that moment when I used to hear when I was growing up on my parents' farm, and I used to on Sunday morning. I used to turn on the TV, and my parents would be watching Oral Roberts, and I would always enjoy it, Michael, when Oral Roberts would say, "Something good is going to happen to you." Ah, those are sweet words.
Well, they are, and we should feel optimistic. But I think if we want to be honestly optimistic, then we need to make certain that the people that we elect to represent us really represent our best interest.
Michael, stop. We're not going to talk about any business until the second segment. Okay?
Okay.
No politics, no immigration, no elected officials. We're going to talk about things that really matter in your life. How is your family?
My family is doing wonderful. Unfortunately, I found out, which is why I was delayed coming on the program, that a young man that I've been working with in Washington at the USN, that a staffer, passed away today. And so that was what delayed my getting to you. So that did not help things.
Well, I'm
terrible
so
loss
sorry.
for him, his family,
I'm so sorry to hear that.
his colleagues. And yes, because, I'm usually prompt when I'm on your
Oh,
program.
and listen, you know what you remind us? Here's what you remind us. We should cease every second of life. We don't even know whether we will be among the living at the end of this day. Forget about tomorrow. And you enjoy your friends, you enjoy your family, and make sure you talk to them so when you get the news that they passed on from this earth, at least you can feel good. Wow, I'm glad I had that conversation. I'm glad I made that contact.
Absolutely. I always tell people that tomorrow's sunrise is the dim, distant future.
Yes. And you know what? Every second that we talk, even the last 10 minutes and 33 seconds that we've been on the air, brings us closer to our ultimate destiny, which is death. And we must look at time that way. Every second, you must make the most of it. You don't have time to waste. It's so precious, and it will soon pass away.
Well, there's a poem. I think it's Shel Silverstein who wrote it, and I love the poem. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. this idea that I lost my parents to cancer when I was in college, and my father, as he knew he was in bad shape, my mom was in terrible shape. But I came home and he looked all worked up, and I said, I guess you're not well and you're worried. And he said, no. He said, what dawned on me, Mike, he says, one day you're going to be where I am. He said, I hope you're 100 years old. But the inevitability is that we all wind up in this place. And he said, so don't put things off for tomorrow, because one day all of us run out of tomorrows.
And we all become those that we sometimes pity, sometimes that reminds us of what is to come. You got to enjoy your youth. You got to enjoy your health. You must enjoy your prosperity. You got to enjoy the times of struggle that makes us and remind us of how much we need the Creator. We need those moments in life to complete who we are as men and women.
And we need to take the time to be patient with the people around us, compassionate,
yes,
fair,
yes.
reasonable.
Hold there. I just need to know that the family is okay. Somebody just call in and let us know. I'm Armstrong Williams. Armstrong Williams Show. We'll be back with Michael Cutler. Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. Just like the Affordable Care Act seeks to ensure people with public or private coverage
This is Armstrong Williams on the right side.
Armstrong,
Don't curse, speak English.
Armstrong,
Virtuous society.
Armstrong.
I dare you to listen.
Hey, turn it up. Hey,
Armstrong,
get on the right side.
Armstrong,
Elevate your mind.
Armstrong,
I'm Armstrong Williams on the right side.
Yo, man, it's your boy KO. And you're tuned into the most conservative of our brothers.
The Armstrong Williams Show. Please give me a break. Grow up.
Are we back? Michael Cutler, are you there?
I'm not all there, but I'm there.
Oh, we had a little something up in here. But you know what? We're back and we're still kicking it. That's all that matters. You were talking about the friend that passed and your mother, your parents. Continue that, because sometimes, we got time to get to the business, but go ahead.
Absolutely. And sometimes you'll see people that are discourteous. You'll be on the highway. We've all been there. It's supposed to be a one-for-one merge, and some guy goes, no one's getting ahead of me. And suddenly, what should be a nice, calm commute, maybe we're sitting there with that mug of coffee in the cup holder, and suddenly, your heart's pounding, you're furious, you're frustrated, all because some guy was a cement head. And you think to yourself, what did he really gain by that? I think that we really need to look ourselves in the mirror in the morning and try to be who we really want to be. Fair, compassionate, reasonable, humane. Don't you think that it would make the world so much better? I mean, small stuff. Think how frustrating and upset we get over small stuff. Not the big stuff. Big stuff we understand. Small stuff. the guy that cuts you off, the guy that splashes the water on, and boy, there goes your morning. We've all been there, haven't we?
Oh, yes. And some of us
Then
are
you
still
think
there.
to yourself, number one, dummy me, I allowed myself to get upset because that guy was a jerk, but you got to wonder what's going on between his ears, don't you?
You don't have to wonder. You almost know.
People who are grammatically challenged, they can only conjugate verbs in the first person singular.
Sad but true. So answer the question of the day for us.
Go ahead.
What is going on with immigration?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm glad you asked. I watched the President's State of the Union address, and it seemed to me, Armstrong, to be a series of non sequiturs. It does not follow. If we could have $1 for every time the President used the word jobs, we could go out and get a pretty good dinner, I think. Jobs. We're going to create more jobs. We need jobs. We're going to get Americans working, back to work, jobs, the economy, jobs. And then nobody stops and says, well, wait a moment, Mr. President. If you take millions, and I mean maybe tens of millions of illegal aliens and give them the authority to work, how do you plan to get jobs for Americans? We saw the same thing with Mitt Romney, that college kid at the town hall debate. Mr. Governor, he asked, my parents just spent a fortune on my college education. What will you do to make sure I get a job? Don't worry, son. We'll get you a job, right? 10 minutes later, what does Mr. Romney say? We need to staple green cards onto the diplomas of every foreign student who graduates from a college in the United States. We're only creating about 150,000 jobs a month, according to the statistics that the Labor Department bandies about so frequently. And we're admitting, legally, about 150,000 workers into the United States every month. We give out about 100,000 green cards per month. And then we admit people on the high-tech visas, the agriculture visas, the exchange programs, the foreign students who get to work in the United States. But no one says, well, wait a moment. If you suddenly dump millions of authorized workers into a labor pool that can't find work, how do you plan for them to find work? And no one talks about the idea about what name do you put on the documents that you give people who are undocumented. Undocumented means they can't prove who they are. Imagine if you went to the airport. Here's a funny thought for you and for your audience. Imagine if you went to the airport to take a trip and the TSA guy says to you, let me see your ID, and you took a piece of cardboard out of your pocket, an index card that you scribbled your name on. And you said, here it is. And he'd look at the cardboard and say, are you kidding me? How does this prove this is who you are?
Michael,
Well,
just
is
hold
it
there.
any different if it's a fancy laminated card? But
Michael.
the process by which the name was put on that card is no better than some guy scribbling a name on an index card?
Michael,
If
let's
that's-
take a call. Let's take some calls. I don't want Randy to leave us. He is a busy man, and we appreciate it when he always stop by to visit with us. Hello, brother Randy.
What's going on, Army?
You see how I'm working hard to get you in on this conversation, brother? Because I know you don't have all day.
And you know I'm chomping at the bit.
Go right ahead and chomp.
How you guys doing, man?
His name is Michael.
How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing great, other than what we were just talking about, but I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm good, man. Every time you come on, man, you be real wound up about the immigrants, man. I mean, what do you suggest we do about the immigrants, man? Just throw them all out?
Well, I'm not wild about the immigrants. My mother, may she rest in peace, was an immigrant. My concern is that, and by the way, we already admit 1.1 million plus legal immigrants every year. My concern is when people come in illegally and they evade a process that's designed to protect American lives and American jobs. Not just American lives, but innocent lives. Because immigrants are being killed by other immigrants. People within the ethnic immigrant communities, it's not just about Mexico or Latin America, it's the Russian community, it's the Asian community. I was an immigration agent for 30 years. And I worked half of my career on drugs and terrorism.
Yeah, but Americans are killing Americans too. I mean, people gonna kill people. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're missing my point.
That's what's gonna come.
No, but the point is that the job of immigration is just like a homeowner looks through the peephole before letting a stranger into your home. You wouldn't leave your door open at night. And all I'm saying, and all that the law says, is we need to be careful about who we let in, especially in an era where we know that terrorists want to come here. And you know what's so remarkable is that Napolitano was saying, we don't even have to worry about the border because the border is secure. And the president says, well, if we can make the border secure, then it's time for comprehensive reform. The border exists in 50 states. There's no integrity to the process by which we give citizenship to people. In fact, the Center for Immigration Studies just did a study that said that there are dozens of terrorists and people who were engaged in espionage who became naturalized citizens because the system that we're using doesn't have integrity. And this is something that I warned Congress about. I've done more than a dozen hearings, and each time, and I told this to the 9/11 Commission, there is no integrity to that process, and nobody is listening. You know, either you agree that we have to have a secure border and an immigration system that has integrity. It doesn't mean it's 100%. No laws get enforced 100%. Gun laws don't, drug laws don't, tax laws don't.
Hasn't Obama put more National Guard and armed guards on the border more than any other president?
No, not true.
More people than any other president?
First of all, the National Guard, the only role they had, and they've been withdrawn, was secondary. They're not doing enforcement work. Second of all,
if you're a legal immigrant, you see a guard, you ain't gonna walk across the border. You're gonna go somewhere else to try to cross.
No.
What I'm trying to say is that, you talked a good long time. Just hear me out.
Sure.
Obama, everybody keeps getting on his administration. Obama has done more deportations and had more people on the border. Period. That's a fact. I mean, we can say, we could do more.
No, I'll tell you what he's done.
The Republicans won't let him do anything unless they rubber stamp it, and it's their idea. Even their ideas they don't want.
No, listen.
He's doing the best he can. He needs help.
First of all, by the way, I'm a Democrat. I'm not a Republican.
Let me stop you a minute, Michael. Let me stop you a minute. Let me get Taisha's. Randy, wait a minute. I want to get Taisha's voice in on this conversation. Don't go away. I'm just adding another voice. Taisha, go ahead. You have been patiently holding. Taisha, go ahead. Stop listening to the radio and talk. Okay. Go ahead, Michael, please.
Yeah, here's my point. In fact, there was just a hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee on Tuesday. ICE agents, Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, have been ordered to not arrest illegal aliens. This is a first. I started working for the INS in 1971. No order like that had ever before been given to this extent. And in fact, an agent who made an arrest of an illegal alien had been suspended for 3 days. This was a first.
Well, did he tell him not to? Was he told not to do something? Was he following orders when he got suspended? He did not follow orders, right?
Well, but he looked at the law and said, this guy is in violation of law. Let a judge decide whether or not he should be allowed.
Oh, man. See, this is what I'm talking about. If you have an employee, you tell your employee not to do something, the judge going to tell your employee that he can do it or not?
Let me finish. I was an agent. I've made thousands and thousands of arrests. I was never punished for arresting somebody.
But he was never told. You said this is the first time that this has ever happened, right? So it's the first time anybody has been suspended.
No, you're missing the point. No administration had point blank. Look, we had this with Jimmy Carter saying don't make arrests during the census. We need to count the aliens, and that was about gerrymandering districts. But this was a set of circumstances.
Randy, thank you. Taisha, hold. Okay, Randy, we'll come back. Don't go away. We're going to try to get Taisha on this conversation. I'm Armstrong Williams. Michael Cutler, don't go away.
Armstrong Williams.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. Just like the Affordable Care Act seeks to ensure people with public or private coverage can find high-quality health care, AAA911health.com offers consumers you with access to better information, quality care, and big-time savings on your health care. Yes, big time. AAA911health.com offers a 90-day money-back guarantee. That's right. If AAA911health.com haven't saved you money, guess what? They will pay you back in full your membership with no questions asked. Just tell them Armstrong Williams sent you to AAA911health.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. What does it mean to be conservative? Freedom of speech, freedom of free enterprise, freedom of assembly, less government, less taxes. As a matter of fact, a flat tax. Everyone should pay proportional tax. It doesn't matter whether you make $100 million or $10,000. Everyone should pay their 10%. Everyone should have something at stake in this American economy. I'm Armstrong Williams expressing what we mean by conservative traditional value.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams with an opportunity to own a piece of paradise in Nassau, Bahamas. Spectacular land prices, 8,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet lot, affordable prices, hilltop properties with views of the magnificent sea. Just call 242-677-3120 or 3121 or go to info@rightsidewire.com and leave your information.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
Let's try this again. Taisha, are you there?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Armstrong.
Hello, Miss Taisha.
Hello, Mr. Michael.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Taisha. How are you today?
Fine. I just have a quick comment about immigration reform. I know some people may not like this, but I'm kind of against immigration because I feel that you have so many countries in this world, and I would like to know why it seems like the American government feels they have to take care of everybody else's problems, like Mexico, Jamaica, Russia, and all these other places. People just come here, but why do we have to be the kind of country feel we have to take care of everybody's problems, provide jobs for everybody else around the world? Why can't these countries learn to adopt some of the things America has, like Medicaid and food stamps and welfare for a period of time just to help people get off, their, until they can help themselves? I mean, why do we have to do that? Why can't
It's an excellent question, Taisha. and I'll tell you something that's in... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I heard that when they come over here, I know this for a fact, some of them have immediate health care, some of them can get food stamps, and some of them can get welfare, which doesn't make any sense because you have so many people complaining about welfare enough as it is, and food stamps. So if these people come here and they are poor and they need help, isn't that going to make health care go up and all this other stuff? While you have people who parents been born and raised here, the ancestors been here for the longest, and they can't get access to this. So I just want to know, why do we feel we have to take care of every nation, nationality, and everything else? I mean, I'm not against people wanting to make a better life for themselves, but I feel if I was the president, I would try to teach other nations, to take care, adopt some of these, social programs like you have here in America instead of saying,
let
come
me
over
tell you.
here. Okay.
Taisha, you're raising some great points, and let me tell you what we're doing. By allowing illegal aliens from Mexico into the United States, and we allow it. I mean, the border is not secure. I don't care what Miss Napolitano has to say. And in fact, I've been writing about it. You can go to my website, michaelcutler.net or talkborder.com, and I also write for a great organization, Californians for Population Stabilization. Their website is capsweb.org. And if you look at what I've been writing for the longest time, by allowing folks to come to our country to send money back to their home country, two things are happening. We are bleeding tens of billions of dollars in remittances, money wired from the United States to the home country. Mexico gets well over $20 billion a year, that's with a B, in money that their workers send back to Mexico, which helps the Mexican economy. It's their second biggest source of revenue next to petroleum. But we're also allowing Mexico to use the United States as a safety valve. If they're young, able-bodied men who come here, and roughly 10% of Mexico now lives in the United States, if they couldn't come here and they couldn't work, they would demand reform within their own country, because Mexico is not a poor country. It has the 17th largest economy in the world, and I believe it's the second largest economy in Latin America. So what we're doing is to continue these policies of the Mexican economy, which really concentrates the wealth among, the top 2% or the top 1%, and most of the people live under horrific conditions in Mexico, and we're the enablers, because instead of putting pressure on Mexicans to seek change, they come to America, they're exploited, we drive down American wages, and then our government runs up the bills that you're talking about. It impacts health care, it impacts education, it impacts all sorts of problems, and all this because the people that make the money or get political power from the immigration system such as it is right now. So your question is very well taken. Wouldn't you agree with that, Armstrong?
I bet some of these countries are sitting back laughing at us sometimes, and I hope that, the American government can see that, both Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians, and everyone else before it's too late. But thank you for your answer, Mr. Cutler and Mr. Armstrong.
And thank you for calling in and listening to Aisha. Michael, what about the Senate's Gang of Eight that have come out in favor of the enactment of comprehensive immigration reform or other such legislation that would provide unknown millions of illegal aliens with lawful status and a pathway to citizenship?
It's crazy stuff. The Republicans have always been a problem, just as the Democrats have. Let's remember that it was Ronald Reagan who gave us that first disastrous amnesty in 1986. We were told it would involve about 1 million to 1.5 million. The number came close to 4 million. That's why I tell you, when they talk about 11 million now, figure at least 30 million. And what's happened is that the people that stand to gain by this have convinced the Republicans, oh my God, if you want that mythical Latino vote, and if that isn't profiling, I don't know what is, but the Latinos will vote for you, they will love you if you promise pathways to citizenship for illegal aliens. And I have to tell you, I do speaking engagements all around the country, and if anyone out there is aware of any such opportunity, you can get a hold of me through michaelcutler.net or through Californians for Population Stabilization at capsweb.org. And people will come up to me, whether they're Latino, whether they're black, whether they're white, whatever. And they say to me, why in the world would anybody be happy that we're going to allow people who can't prove who they are or how long they've been here, because they've used multiple false names, which is why identity theft is the fastest growing white-collar crime in America, by the way. Hardly a victimless crime to anyone who's ever had their identity stolen. Why would any American be happy that we will now dump millions of competing workers into the labor pool? Even if you don't lose your job, the wages that you're paid are likely to be depressed. And in fact, for the first time this last year, the Labor Department reported that hourly wages have gone down. The middle class has contracted. And for the first time, more Americans are on welfare and food stamps than at any time in history. We are destroying the middle class. Immigration used to be the responsibility of the Labor Department. The idea was simple. If we could protect American workers from unfair foreign competition, we could grow the middle class. We can improve working conditions and wages for Americans, and the whole country will rise. That's how the American dream was born.
Let me welcome.
Look at what we're doing. Between outsourcing jobs, importing foreign workers, subsidizing educations for foreign students so they can get the degrees, and American kids wind up with student loans that look like mortgage payments and can't get a job. How in the world is this sustainable or in the best interest of America or Americans in the long haul, Armstrong?
Let me introduce Brian Bucksell, who's a private investigator and who deals with a lot of issues. Brian, what do you think about this immigration issue, and what can we do to balance it out for all sides?
Well, first of all, in a way, I kind of agree with the gentleman on the phone.
Michael, I agree in a way. However, we still have a lot of jobs here that our people don't want to do. So as a result, we have immigrants who come over and don't mind doing those kinds of jobs. And taking
What kind of jobs? What kind of jobs?
Well, landscaping jobs, trash jobs, those kinds of jobs that require manual labor that I feel, and I have family members who own landscaping jobs who employ these kind of people sometimes. And they are very hard-working people. But I agree there should be some kind of limit, I would say that, based on how many immigrants that are coming in per year. And growing our population as well with our own people, we need to probably put some kind of cap on that. So I kind of agree with what you're saying in a way, but the other thing is you still have the hard-working immigrants who come over here and do a lot of jobs that sometimes Americans would be a little more lax in doing, such as office cleaning jobs, cleaning up the public grounds. There are a number of different jobs out there that they handle, and they do, to my understanding, and for what I see, a good job of it.
Well, it's not just a matter of, first of all, if you pay people a living wage, they will do any job. You look at construction work. My dad was a construction worker. He was a plumber. He will always be my biggest hero. You look at the construction sites. These are American workers who are out there, whether it's 105 degrees or whether it's 5 degrees. Construction is dangerous. It's filthy. It's backbreaking work. It's honest work. And Americans do the work. I don't believe there's a shortage of Americans. I believe this is about driving down the wages, paying people off the books. Now, maybe the landscaper makes some money because he's cutting his overhead. But at the end of the day, it's society that picks up the slack. But it's not even only on those jobs, and we could talk about those jobs. We're doing the same thing in the computer field. There have been videos. If you go to my website, or you can contact me off air through Armstrong's folks, there have been videos of lawyers conducting seminars for other lawyers to show them how to make certain that when Americans apply for engineering and technology jobs, that they are disqualified so that the foreign workers get the jobs to save the employer money and to make certain that the attorneys get their legal fees. How many times have we heard the stories about American workers who have been forced to train their foreign replacements? That's what we're talking about. And very often, by the way, when people do the manual jobs, the landscaping jobs, and so forth, we have seen instances, and I saw this as an agent where I arrested these folks, where they were involved with violent gangs. So during the day, they're mowing lawns. At night, they're selling drugs or getting involved in robberies. Very often, we had people that were fugitives. 30% of the people in federal jail right now are illegal aliens. In 1988, when I was assigned to the Unified Intelligence Division of DEA in New York, I was the first agent assigned to Unified Intelligence. I did a study of the arrest records, and I was shocked. In New York, in 88, 60% of the people we were arresting up at DEA were foreign-born. Nationally, it's 30%. So the idea that when people come across the border, well, they're just here to work, you don't know why they're here. You don't know why they did not apply for a visa. And it's not that visas aren't available. In fact, Mexican farm workers can get a visa the same day they apply, and they can come to the United States. There's no cap on it.
Michael, Brian, hold that point. We're coming back. Don't go away.
Sure.
Armstrong Williams returns in a moment.
Today in school I learned a lot. In chemistry.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Life is full of unexpected changes. Everyone has potential to do wrong. And when they choose to do it, contact the Bucksell Group for your private investigation needs. TheBucksellGroup.com or by phone at 202-243-9746. Whether there's an instance of a cheating spouse, child custody, process service, or security, don't continue suspecting. Get closure so that you can move on with your life. Visit TheBucksellGroup.com now or call 202-243-9746. If you think it's happening, it probably is.
To travelers along the road of life who have fallen asleep at the wheel, to the many who woke up in time to avert disaster and get back on the righteous path. For the ones who crashed and survived and now adhere vigilantly to a virtuous and righteous path. Finally, Armstrong Williams' much-anticipated new book, Reawakening Virtues, gives his insights into these daily challenges and much more. Reawakening Virtues is available in bookstores and at Amazon.com.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sports shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Elder Chicks is an exciting part of the fastest growing segment of the population. Women in their 70s, 80s, and older who are mastering the art of a senior life. We're no longer unseen and unheard. We're providing role models for each other and the baby boomers who are fast approaching retirement. Join our virtual community. Hit www.elderchicks.com on your computer keyboard.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
You know, I just want to mention this too. I just want to get off topic for a few minutes here with Bucksell. You know, all of us watched the Olympics in 2012, and South African sprinter Oscar Pistorius, and who inspired the world, Brian and Michael, when he competed in the London Olympics as a double amputee. Even earned the nickname Blade Runner for the carbon fiber prosthetic leg he wears from the knees down. I remember watching it. Boy, my heart really went out to him. And now the 26-year-old is now in the news for more nefarious reasons. I mean, according to a South African news agency, Pistorius is under police custody after allegedly shooting and killing his girlfriend, who he may have mistaken for an intruder. God, doesn't these stories make you ill, Brian?
Say that one more time.
Doesn't these, when you hear these stories, that makes you ill? He mistaken her for an intruder.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like, you know, a mistake can be a mistake, but the question would come into my mind, being an investigator, as to whether it is a mistake or whether it was set up to look like a mistake. That would be the first thing to come in my mind, because unfortunately we always think skepticism for.
So you think that? So you think that's what I want to talk to you. So you think there may be more to this story than meet the eye?
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? I'm
You
having
think that
trouble hearing you.
you think there may be much more to the story than what is being reported?
Yes, I a lot of times I do. When I hear these cases, oftentimes on the news or read about them, the first thing comes to my mind are the circumstances surrounding it. And you have to look at it, well, I always look at it from an investigative standpoint. And looking at the facts, looking at the circumstances, the media tends to twist things from time to time. And unless I'm reading the actual indictment or the documents and the circumstances around it, I can't really make a call. But the first thing I'm going to think is, there's a possibility that that case could have been set up to look like it was an accident and not necessarily an accident. And then you have to look into other things such as motive and that kind of thing, whether the guy or the woman had a motive.
You know, today is Valentine's Day. Why do you think so many tragedies and so much violence and domestic abuse takes place on such a day like this, Brian?
Well, you got love and emotions going on with relationships and family members and things of that nature. Today is a day of emotions, and a lot of people express themselves differently. When they don't get the expression from the other person, this is that day that they bust the bubble sometimes. All through the year, they're not getting the attention, they're not getting the affection, and this is that one day that they're feeling like, I need something to solidify or validate me as being that person of interest with you in your life. They're not getting that. Sometimes women or men sometimes can snap and say, you know what, this is the last straw. I'm not getting any attention all year. I'm not getting anything from this person, but today is that day I'm feeling like I deserve, or maybe a right of entitlement, so to speak, of flowers, candy, a dinner, a trinket, some kind of gift of some sort, and they don't, and then they find out other information such as them cheating with another possible coworker, family member, or someone they both have known for a long time, and that sometimes just sets people off. And in other cases that I know of that I've actually worked with, that's what happened. They found out that the person had some kind of other relationship, an extramarital relationship going on with another person, and inadvertently it turned out tragically.
But for the most part, a day like today is that people spend a lot of money. It's great for the economy, isn't it?
Absolutely. You have so many, you have the, like I said, the gifts that are going on, the roses, the flowers, cars, sometimes in some cases condominiums for the girlfriend, the mistress. They get, a lot of big gifts. In fact, in one case that I do remember, one of the mistresses was able to get a boat out of the boyfriend, who was married at the time, and in that case it turned out almost tragically. But the boyfriend, be it a husband, he's now doing time for an assault, first-degree assault, battery, and some more things that they actually got into it. And that was on a Valentine's Day. That was a Valentine's Day 3 years ago.
Michael Cutler, do you care anything about Valentine's Day? Or are you going to be talking about immigration tonight with your wife?
Well, she's immigration out, I think, with living with me. Somebody should saint her, I think. By the way, the Blade Runner case, radio was reporting today that neighbors said it sounded as though there was an altercation just before the gunshots. So it may get more interesting, and I don't want to be a rumor spreader or a rumor monger, but they did say police were looking at other possibilities in that case, by the way.
It's just...
Yeah, I find in a lot of times in those cases, some of the stories that the people come up with are so bizarre.
Well, that's the thing about law enforcement or being a private investigator. We tend to catch people in the act of being themselves, which I guess what makes law enforcement so interesting to so many folks who are not in that profession.
Let's go to Rodney. Rodney, you have a comment? Rodney.
Hey, Armstrong. Yeah, I wish your show was longer than an hour. All your guests is so intriguing. I just love, especially when Mike is on. And
thank you.
I want to tie something into everything that y'all talking about. Earlier, Armstrong, you started out the show saying that you disagree with President Obama raising the minimum wage. But then you turn around and said today is a good day for the economy because of people spending money. Well, we give them a higher wage, minimum wage, they'll be spending money for the economy. You ever thought about that?
I think
they
about...
basically ain't going to save the money. They're going to spend it to try to catch up for, bills and things that they really need and stuff. So that I believe that's going to stimulate the economy. If we give them at least a more living wage.
Actually, and that's not going to happen because in reality, the minimum wages really hurt employers in the long run, and it really doesn't help the people that it really hurt the people that you're actually in the long run trying to help. The thing about it, if you want to raise the minimum wage, you have to at least chain it to inflation. And I can think of a few ideas worse for job creation than this. And 2/3 of minimum wages studies found negative employment effects from minimum wage laws. And the minimum wage increases job turnover, Rodney, discourages part-time work, if you can believe that, and discourages fringe benefits, increase inflationary pressure. And let me throw Michael Cutler a bone. It encourages hiring illegal immigrants.
It probably does. It probably does. And by the way, I have to tell you, and this goes right with what you're saying, and here's something that people don't realize. Back in 1987 or so, when we implemented the employer sanctions provisions of the immigration laws, and we gave lawful status to millions of aliens, guess who kept calling our office complaining about the hiring of illegal aliens? The newly legalized immigrants. Because what happened was they went back to their boss once they got that magic card from the old INS, and they said to their boss, Joe, you're an idiot to work for. I don't like you, but I like my job. I live near the factory. I know what's expected of me, and I like the guys I work with. So I'm going to keep working for you, but not for $5 an hour. I want prevailing wage. I want to be paid on the books, and you got to address the safety issues that you're ignoring. And you know what the bosses did in many cases? Fired the newly legalized aliens and said, I'm not going to pay you that wage that you think you're entitled to. And they replaced them with the next wave of illegal aliens, which is how we got to where we are today, which goes again to the point that if you pay people a living wage, you can get people to do just about any job.
It doesn't work, Rodney.
Think about people working in steel foundries. These are tough, dangerous, miserable jobs. But if the wages are there, you will get Americans to do the jobs.
Just doesn't work, Rodney. I'm sorry. I understand.
You
want to make it work.
I see what you're saying, but like I say, I don't see why would you get rid of them and start hiring part-time people just because the person you hiring is getting $2 more.
Well, in fact, the minimum wage should be lowered. It should be $5 an hour. Shouldn't be higher.
Well, man, then you'll have more foreclosures, and we'll have more people on the streets.
Most people,
if it ever went down that far.
Would you say that people, Brian Bucksell, who receive minimum wage is really a part of the real economy? Or they're just tying themselves over until they find the job that they're looking for?
Well, yeah, you can use that as an instrument. Yeah, they just doing it until they can find a much better job, like a waiter or waitress or a cook or something like that. Apparently, they won't stay in that position for 30 or 40 years unless they're very unique at it and can make more money and can go to their boss and ask for more wages.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. Just like the Affordable Care Act seeks to ensure people with public or private coverage can find high-quality health care, AAA911health.com offers consumers with access to better information, quality care, and big-time savings on your health care. Yes, big time. AAA911health.com offers a 90-day money-back guarantee. That's right. If AAA911health.com haven't saved you money, guess what? They will pay you back in full your membership with no questions asked. Just tell them Armstrong Williams sent you to AAA911health.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
Anderson Brothers Bank, a family-owned and operated establishment that blends traditional personal service, local market awareness, and advanced technology to meet the financial needs of its customers. Visit abbank.com or call 843-464-6271 to see how they can assist you with your banking needs. Anderson Brothers Bank, celebrating 75 years of community banking, the way it should be. Stability right in your backyard since 1933.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sport shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
Michael Cutler, Brian Bucksell, thank you so much for joining us for this for the show. It was a good show. Mike, I'll start with you. What do you want to say on this Valentine's Day? We want to end it on a Valentine's note.
Absolutely. Well, cherish.
Well, that answered that. Brian? Wow, that was pretty. Okay.